Whenever we have graph questions in the writing section, we need to focus on the fact that they're asking usually for two things at once: the accuracy and relevance of the different options here. Now, what's easier? Well, accuracy is going to be easier to start with because accuracy always pertains to the graph itself. So we should start with the graph, we should see what's going on there, and then we should see if it matters what's going on in the passage. Because if something is just not factually true, it can't be our answer. So both choices A and B are just factually incorrect. Not because we don't know, not because the fact is provably false, but because we don't actually have a way to prove it right. In this case, we don't know anything about people being in tornado-prone areas. We don't know anything about property damage. The graph is not talking about that. The graph is giving us information on the number of deaths. Choice B, same thing. We don't know anything about injuries, so we can't put that in the sentence, or in the passage, even if it's a useful fact. It's just not relevant to what we're talking about here, so it has to go away. That leaves us with C and D, both of which are provably true. We can look at choice C. In 1953, there were over 500 lives claimed. Well, yeah, that looks to be the case. So I would say that that's true. And in choice D, as a result of these policies, there has not been a tornado season with over 150 deaths since the 1980s. Well, if we look at the 1980s, it looks like we're below 100 or very close to 100 for all of those years. So that also seems reasonably true. Then we have to think, okay, now we're talking about relevance. Which one matters for what we're talking about in the passage? Well, they're talking about lots of different things here. We see that they're talking about tornado warnings, what the National Weather Service has done. There's a program called Storm Watch. They're trying to train volunteers. They're identifying storms. So they're doing a lot to try to preemptively protect people. And so as a result of these policies, the policies that we just mentioned, there's not been a tornado season with over 150 deaths since the 1980s. That is relevant to what we're talking about because it's saying why the policies that we've just mentioned are actually important and what they do for the number of tornado deaths. Choice C is true, but it seems like a very negative fact when in fact the rest of the passage is trying to build towards a positive thing where we're trying to say that life has gotten better living with tornadoes. So try to deal with accuracy first. It's usually easier, and if you still have multiple answer choices left, you can still think about dumb summaries and things like that, positives and negatives, to help you sort through them, but try to match main ideas with the choice and the passage.